3 weeks ago, your cucumber vines were pumping out fruit faster than you could pick it. Now they're collapsed and half dead. If you think you killed your garden, you didn't. That's just July. This video covers 7 crops to plant right now that'll fill your table clear through fall, not just survive the heat, produce through it. Each one timed to your actual first frost date, not a generic chart, so you know the exact week to get it in the ground. I used to think a dying zucchini vine meant I'd failed. Pulled 2 summers of vines early, mourning a harvest that was never built to last past 10 weeks anyway. One of these 7 get the timing off by even 3 weeks, and it fails completely. That's the first one we cover. Every year the same thing happens by September. Half a raised bed garden sitting empty because the tomatoes gave out and nothing went in to replace them. Wait past the next 2 or 3 weeks and there's no longer enough time for most fall crops to mature before the first hard frost. That's not fear talk, that's just counting backward from your frost date, and once you know that date, everything on this list turns into simple math. These 7 made the list for one reason. Each one can go in the ground this month and still mature before an average first frost, and each one puts a real amount of food on the table, not a token harvest. This works whether you've got a full backyard garden, a couple of raised beds, or nothing but a patio and some containers. Here's what I actually believe about this time of year. Most people treat growing food at home like it's a spring-only project. That's the real reason gardens sit empty by September. It isn't the heat, and it isn't the bugs. It's the belief that once the tomatoes and squash fade out, the season is over. It's not. July is a second planting season hiding in plain sight, and most backyards never get to see it. One more thing before we get into the list. None of these 7 crops require you to spend an afternoon on your knees in the dirt. A raised bed at knee height or a 5-gallon bucket on a porch does the same job as bending over a row in the ground, and that matters more as the years go on, not less. A raised bed at the right height solves that problem the same way a kitchen counter at the right height keeps you from hunching over the sink all day. Small space and easier on the back aren't a compromise here. They're just how most of this list gets done. One of these 7 surprises people every time, mostly because they've spent years being told it doesn't belong in a summer garden. Start with bush beans. Straight into the ground, no starting trays, no transplanting, and they mature in about 50 days. Direct sow now and you're picking beans by early September. The mistake most people make this late is planting pole varieties that need a trellis and take 3 weeks longer to produce. That's a lot like building the car halfway through the road trip. Bush beans skip that wait entirely, and if you're short on room, a 5-gallon bucket handles 4 or 5 plants without complaint. No raised bed required. Whatever you don't eat fresh, blanch it for 2 minutes and freeze it. It holds its color and snap for months, so nothing you grow goes to waste. Carrots come next, and they're the crop most people forget belongs on a July planting list at all. A midsummer sowing means the roots size up through the cooler weeks of September and October, and carrots left in the ground actually get sweeter after a light frost hits them. The mistake here is sowing them too shallow and letting the soil crust over before they germinate. Keep the top inch moist for the first 10 days and cover the row with a board or a piece of damp burlap until you see sprouts. In a container, look for a variety bred for shorter roots and go at least 12 inches deep so they don't hit bottom and fork. And here's the part most people miss. Carrots left in the ground under a layer of mulch can be pulled straight through most of the winter in mild climates. No canning, no freezer space, just a shovel and a cold afternoon whenever you want one. Basil earns a spot because most people only plant it once, in spring, and by July it's already bolting and turning bitter, all flower and no flavor. A second sowing now, direct in the ground or started in trays and moved out in a couple weeks, gives you tender leaves clear through fall instead of one exhausted plant limping along. A single basil plant does fine in a 6-inch pot on a sunny windowsill or patio table. No raised bed garden required for this one. The real mistake is letting the new plants sit next to the old bolting ones and assuming they're fine. Pull the flower heads off the older plants or they'll go to seed and stop producing altogether. And if you end up with more basil than you know what to do with, which happens fast once 2 rounds are producing at the same time, steep a handful of leaves in hot water and let it cool. Basil tea isn't something most people think to try, but it's a good use for the extra when the fridge is already full. There's one item further down this list that almost nobody thinks to plant in July. It's not a summer crop at all. Zucchini and summer squash come next, and here's something that surprises a lot of people who think they killed their plants. Those vines are only built to produce for about 2 to 3 months total. If your squash looked incredible in June and is collapsed and half dead right now, that's not a mistake you made. That's the plant reaching the end of what it was ever going to give you. Planting zucchini in June and expecting it to still be pumping out fruit in August is a lot like expecting the same energy out of Thanksgiving leftovers on day 5. Technically still there, not exactly what it was. Here's the part most people miss completely. If squash vine borers have wiped out your zucchini before, the timing on this second planting is the actual fix, not just a workaround. Borer moths lay their eggs earlier in the season, and by the time you're planting this second round in late July or the first days of August, most of that egg-laying window has already closed. A late planting doesn't just replace a dying plant, it sidesteps the exact pest that killed the first one. I didn't figure that out for years. Kept blaming the soil, the watering, anything but the timing. If you're working with container gardening instead of a full bed, look for a bush variety bred to stay compact rather than the sprawling vining types. A half wine barrel or a 5-gallon bucket with good drainage holes handles one plant just fine. And when this second round comes in heavy, which it usually does, grate the extra and freeze it flat in bags for winter soups and breads. It won't store whole like a potato, but it holds up fine chopped and frozen. If your squash or cucumbers are looking rough right now, drop a comment and tell me what you're seeing. I read everyone. Cucumbers follow the same logic as squash. Fast to fruit, fast to fade. Plant a fresh round now in whatever bed just opened up, ideally somewhere that didn't just grow squash or cucumbers, so the new plants aren't fighting the same pests and diseases the old ones already picked up. In a container or a small raised bed, that just means rotating to a different corner of the same bed if that's all the space you've got. A bush variety works well in a pot, or train a vining type up a simple trellis if you want more fruit from less footprint. When the harvest comes in faster than you can eat them fresh, refrigerator pickles are the easiest fix there is. Vinegar, water, salt, a jar, and about 24 hours in the fridge. No canning equipment, no processing, just a snack that's ready by the next day. The next one on this list breaks the rule most people think they know about summer gardening. Lettuce is the one nobody expects to see on a July list. Most people think of it as strictly a cool weather crop, planted in spring or not at all. The truth is, lettuce started now from seed indoors or tucked into a shaded spot outside, then moved into the garden as temperatures start dropping in August. Gives you the best lettuce of the whole year. Fall lettuce grown in cooling weather comes in sweeter and more tender than anything from a spring planting, which tends to turn bitter the second the heat shows up. The trick is starting the seed somewhere cool, not fighting the July sun with it directly in the ground. This might be the easiest crop on the entire list for small space growing. Shallow roots, happy in anything from a window box to a 5-gallon bucket, and instead of harvesting the whole head at once, cut a few outer leaves at a time. The plant keeps producing for weeks that way instead of giving you one harvest and calling it done. Then there's the one that does more for your table than anything else on this list. Potatoes. Most people think of potatoes as a spring crop, planted once and forgotten until you dig them up in summer. A second planting in July gives you a fall crop that can sit in the ground until the first frost kills the foliage back. Pull them then, cure them somewhere dark and dry for a couple weeks, and they'll keep in a garage or a cool closet for months. I'm talking about potatoes from a July planting still feeding your kitchen in February, without a single trip to the grocery store for them. Timing depends on your frost date. If your average first frost lands in late September or early October, get your seed potatoes in during the first half of July. If frost doesn't show up until late October or November where you live, you've got until the end of the month. Either way, you're counting backward from that date, not forward from today. You don't need to buy anything special to start either. Organic potatoes from the grocery store will sprout on their own if you leave them on the counter for a few days, and if you've already been trimming the peelings off potatoes before cooking them, those trimmings will root just as well, so you're not spending money on seed potatoes for a crop you were already buying anyway. Even the odd-looking ones work. I've planted potatoes that grew long, pale tendrils from sitting forgotten in the pantry too long, and they still put out a harvest. Smaller than usual, but a potato is a potato. Nothing about this needs to be perfect to work. And if a full raised bed garden isn't in the cards, a 25-gallon grow bag on a patio does the same job. Tip it over at harvest time and the potatoes are right there in the soil, no digging required. This is the crop that backs up everything I said at the start. The season isn't over in July, it's just changing what it's asking you to plant. If you only do one thing this week, count backward from your first frost date and pick 2 items off this list you can get in the ground in the next 7 days. Beans and carrots are the easiest entry point if you're short on space or time, direct sown, no trays, no transplanting. If you've got a 5-gallon bucket or a grow bag sitting empty from an earlier crop, that's enough room for a second round of potatoes. This is how you grow food at home on whatever space you've actually got, not the space you wish you had. If this saved you a wasted bed or two, subscribing helps more of these season-specific videos find you before the deadline actually passes. If you want help mapping out exactly what to plant next, there's a free calculator on the channel website that builds a garden plan based on your space, and an ebook there if you want a full system for cutting your grocery bill season after season. Links in the description. I'd get potatoes in the ground this week before anything else on this list. Everything else fills a few weeks of the fall table. That one fills months of it.